I just love today's guest. You guys are about to hear from Hotel Bennett's Senior Manager of Travel Industry Sales. Her name is Brea, and she is simply the best ever. But she and I are going to be talking about, like I said, Hotel Bennett. It's a hotel in Charleston, South Carolina. But we're also going to be talking about Charleston as a whole and what makes it so special and unique. It's actually going to be my first personal post pandemic vacation. And Brea is going to give us just a little update from the hotel and the city in regards to current world events like COVID-19 and the Black Lives Matter movement. So, if you're interested in all the charm that Charleston has to offer, listen in to this week's episode of the Be the Travel podcast. Hey y'all, I'm Bailey, the owner and founder of Be the Travel. It's the business I started to help bring my clients' dream travel bees to life. Whether they wanted to be inspired, be adventurous, be unplugged, or just be together with their loved ones in a beautiful destination, I wanted to serve them by taking the stressors of travel planning off of their plate. Right now, you're listening to Be the Travel Podcast, the place where I bring you my supplier and partner relationships, industry knowledge, and professional travel tips that I've accumulated along the way. Hopefully you'll listen in and find yourself even a little bit more inspired to create a travel bee of your own, whatever that might look like to you.
Yay. Hi, Bailey. Thanks so much for having me. Hi, everyone. Hi, new friends, old friends, everyone that's listening. Thank you for listening today. So excited to be doing this. Yes, so I'm from Blacksburg, Virginia. That's where I spent most of my years growing up. My father was a college football coach, so we moved around a bit. But Blacksburg is where I call home. I always say home is where your mom is, and that's where mama is. So Blacksburg will always be home to me. I got into the hotel industry right out of college, a bit by accident. Came out of college in Virginia, guns a-blazing, moved to Atlanta in the hopes of working for CNN. I was a communications major, and Turner was on a hiring freeze at that time. So I had a connection, an alum from my college, get me a job at the Swiss Hotel in Buckhead. And I worked, my first job out of college was the third shift, and that's graveyard shift, y'all. For anyone that's not familiar with third shift vernacular, that's the 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift at the front desk at the Swiss Hotel in Atlanta. It was such a time. And that's a job, I say anyone that's in hospitality, if you have an opportunity to work at the front desk at any point in your career, do it, because you're exposed to every facet of hotel operations. You're obviously on the front lines with the guests, so you learn how to stay composed, think on your feet, but you're also learning about all the other departments and how they work so you can respect them and understand their jobs. So that's how I got started. And I was not long into that. I was really drawn to sales and marketing, and I was quickly pulled and recruited into sales from there. And that sort of started I'm in 19 years now of hospitality, and I spent 10 of those years working under the Marriott brand. So that was really neat because I feel like my resume got really well-rounded under Marriott. I got to work in membership sales for a full-service resort and spa. I got to work on the marketing side for the Ritz-Carlton hotels for those years. I got to be a director of sales and marketing for a Courtyard property. So I got to know that portfolio really well, and that was a pillar. Really, that was the foundation for my career, is that company. And then I started branching out to more independent hotels, and I came to Charleston 7 years ago. And I opened the Dewberry Hotel in 2016, and that's really where I started to sort of cut my teeth on more leisure and travel industry sales. I had done more corporate in the past, and I dabbled in a little bit of consortium before, but nothing like what I got into at the Dewberry. And I really found like that was my niche. That was where I felt comfortable and happy. I really identified with my travel advisor partners. I love to be out in our markets, meeting new advisors and being an ambassador for Charleston. So I opened Hotel Bennett. I was on the pre-opening team. I just had my a little over 2 years now with Hotel Bennett and Salamander Hotels and Resorts.
Wow. Okay, so from CNN dreams to the
Dreams,
graveyard.
fantasy. Back to
That's
reality.
awesome. But hey, it's a great reality. That's amazing.
It was the
So,
best thing that happened to me, really.
yeah, gosh, so you have been with Hotel Bennett since the day it opened its doors.
Hard hats and dust, baby. Yes, since
Love
early days.
that. We have gotten in Nashville, we've gotten to see a couple of the, like our hotel scene is blowing up really. And so we're getting to go and see these hotels like before they're completed. And I'm like, I have such an appreciation now for everything that's like finished. And when all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, I'm like, this is a lot of work that goes into opening a hotel.
It is all hands on deck at times. And I really enjoyed getting dirty and getting in there, in those early days with our hard hats and our little booties and, just seeing it come to life. It was amazing. It made it that much more personal for me. And it's already a personal project, in my opinion. And we'll get into that when we talk about the Bennett family, but it's an personal investment when you see it,
I
from its
love
infancy
that.
to what it is today.
Well, before we talk too much about Hotel Bennett, which I'm dying to also on a personal level, because that's going to be my first post-pandemic trip. I'm so excited.
Yay, you're
But let's talk
coming.
about, I know, but let's talk about Charleston just as a destination. Tell me like what made you drawn to Charleston and why you love it. And then I want to hear like, what is it like right now with everything going on in the world and our country?
Yes. Well, I was drawn to Charleston because I was living in Montana at the time. I was working at a fly fishing lodge out there and sowing some oats out in Montana and Big Sky Country. And I was really eager to get back to the East Coast. And I love that Charleston has 90 miles of coastline. I'm a water baby after all those years in Florida and the Caribbean. So I was drawn to the location, the weather, obviously. I don't do well with cold anymore. I really love to eat and drink. Really a lot. So every time I came to Charleston, I used to joke like, I better pack the big belt because, I would always leave like a little heftier than when I showed up, but you got to enjoy it when you're here. That's one of the best parts about this city. Our culinary scene is incredible. So I was drawn to a lot of factors. And also growing up in Southwestern Virginia, everyone was so sweet and friendly, and I was kind of missing that Southern hospitality. Like, I want to chat with the cashier at the grocery store. That makes me
Yes.
happy. And in Charleston, the hospitality and the warmth that emanates from the people here is unlike any place I've ever been in my life. And it's so authentic and genuine. So really, I wanted to feel like I was being welcomed home again to the South. And there's no friendlier place, in my opinion, than Charleston.
I totally agree. So my husband and I don't even know if you knew this, but we lived for a year and a half in Michigan. And other than that, I've lived in the South my entire life. And I remember I was so excited to come back home because it's so special, like the warmth that people have. And it was the day we moved into our house. So I actually just like ran out to go get fast food somewhere just really quick for all of us, and the like woman working the window was just like calling me baby and honey, and I was like, I'm home.
I love that. Call me darling. I will never be offended. Call me sweetheart. Like, I love it. That's kind of how I was raised. So it feels wonderful to be back. And again, 7 years. It's kind of the longest I've been anywhere since I left my mother's house. So I want to put roots down here.
That's awesome. Tell me how it is right now. COVID, Black Lives Matter, or any riots that have, like, let's talk about everything, because I know you've been affected by all of the above.
Sure. And absolutely. So we're dealing with a lot of the things that everyone in the country is right now. And I think we're all, we're transitioning to a new era in our lives and in the world and our country. And as far as the pandemic goes, I feel that Charleston has been very fortunate in that we've been a really popular destination for people that, like you, are ready to take a trip now. They're starting to regain trust in the travel experience. Charleston's a great place to do that for a couple of reasons. First of all, we have more things open, I feel like, than a lot of the other US cities. So, hotels, obviously, we reopened on May 21st. Restaurants are cleared to reopen up to 50% occupancy. Retail can reopen. Are there places that are not open yet? Yes. but that is their choice not to reopen. The thing is, by our governor's instructions, we can reopen. And what I like is it's not a densely populated city, so it lends itself really well to social distancing. The weather's beautiful. We have so much outdoor space, and all of the parks are reopened. All of the beaches are reopened. So it lends itself really well to spreading out and feeling comfortable and distancing from other people. So I do like that it's a less densely populated city. You can almost do everything that you could do pre-COVID, you can do now. And I think that's a big draw for a lot of people. And like you and I were chatting about yesterday when we were talking about you coming down, does it look the same? No, it doesn't look the same right now. It will come back, just like every place in the country will come back. But nobody has recovered the way they want to be yet. But I am pleased with where we are at with the recovery. So, and it's also, we're seeing obviously road trips and driving distance. We're seeing people that are willing, and, it was really neat. We had this webinar with Condé Nast last week, and it was fun hearing all their stats and what their readers are doing. And people are willing to drive up to 10 hours for a road trip right now. So for Charleston and our location, that encompasses a big chunk of the East Coast, all the way up to Virginia and not quite to New York, but I have had New Yorkers stay with us in the last week. Some of them travel advisors who left our hotel and went back to New York, or they were road tripping from Florida back up the East Coast. A lot of people doing that. So as far as driving distance, very reasonable for a lot of really great markets, including Nashville.
I know. And I actually have people coming. It's funny you say that. I have people coming from Virginia, and I think they're staying with you guys in July. People are willing to drive. People are so ready to travel, not necessarily fly. And then there's also, of course, the issue of we don't know if flights are getting canceled or whatnot, but driving, if we can make it happen, people are ready. So that's what I love about Charleston too.
Yes, and to speak to your question in regards to Black Lives Matter, and we were in the news a little bit on May 30th, there was some rioting on King Street here, and it was a really heartbreaking night for the city. I think it kind of took us all by surprise. Charleston has a complicated and a painful history here, but I think that we manage it responsibly. We understand that we have a great responsibility to really lead the nation in setting forth the best way to communicate about this. And as we've all learned, we've got to start communicating about it better. So yeah, we had this sad night, but on Sunday morning, the 31st, hundreds of people came to King Street with their own brooms, their own dustpans, cleaning up our streets. It was the most incredible display of humanity. Little children handing out bottles of water, Michael Bennett, my owner, handing out cheeseburgers. That's Charleston. Like, our spirit is not broken. One night did not break us. It's alive. We're thriving. We'll be back. Yes, you'll see a little bit of the aftermath, but the community came together like it always does to recover from any tragedy that happens. We come together.
Goosebumps. It's all of the people started saying this in the beginning of the pandemic, but it's times like these that brings out the best and the worst in people. And I think that, I don't know, it's crazy times, but I'm glad to hear that you guys all came together and King Street started to become covered. So speaking of your location there on King Street, let's talk about Hotel Bennett. What all are you near? What all can you do within walking distance? Kind of tell me what is special and unique about Hotel Bennett's location in Charleston.
Yes. Well, I always say, how much time do you have as far as what can you do? Our location could possibly be the best feature about the hotel. So we sit on King Street and Marion Square. We border the most famous green space in the city. Marion Square is the beating heart of Charleston, and we sit directly on that. I mean, it's literally steps outside of our door and you're on Marion Square. So Upper King Street, if you come out of our door, if you're walking out, you hang a right. Upper King Street is steps away. That's the dining mecca of the city. That's where all the great new restaurants are. That's where the bars are. I call it the Upper King Crawl, and I do have a list. All my bachelors and bachelorettes, I hand that out out to them. Like, all right, here are your stops. You're going to stop at Hall's for a martini. Then you're going to go on to Cocktail Club. Then, you know, and of course you got to start at Hotel Bennett with a champagne toast and camellias. Duh.
Right.
I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, like you basically march yourself up King Street and just, there's so many awesome places to start and eat and drink. So Upper King, hotspot. Now, if you head the other direction, you've got the great shopping of Lower King Street, all the fabulous boutiques. You've got the city market less than a mile away. So that's like a 10, 15-minute walk. And again, you're heading directly south. So you're in the city market, then 10, 15-minute walk, the waterfront park down there, right on the harbor, Rainbow Road, the Battery. It's a walking city. That's the joy of Charleston, is get on your feet and go get lost. Like, go explore a little hidden cobbled alleyway, go find yourself immersed in church steeples and Spanish moss, and do a walking tour, do some kind of tour so you can understand the history that you're seeing. It's, it really, there's so much to do here for such a broad range of traveler, and we're right in the heart of everything. We really are. We're so lucky to be at 404 King Street.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to get there. Now, how close are you guys to any kind of public beach access? If people, because a lot of people had to cancel trips to the Caribbean this year, or Mexico even, and if they're looking for that kind of beachy destination, tell me about that in Charleston, and how close is it to you guys?
We've got beaches. I think a lot of people forget that. I love that they're thinking of the historic district, but we have awesome beaches here. So all within like 15, 20-minute drive from the historic downtown peninsula. So you can be on Folly Beach. Folly's a fun little surf town, like lovely, just really casual, sort of hippie vibe out there. I love it. Sullivan's Island, Isle of Palm, all like 15, 20 minutes, much more shoreline there on Sullivan's, especially if you're a walker. That's also where you can take your dogs early in the morning. So that's a fun thing. And some of my favorite restaurants too, the ones that are off the peninsula, are on Sullivan's Island. So you can be to Sullivan's, IOP, Folly Beach, and then the sanctuary out on Kiowa Island is a lot of people like to do, I call it a city and sand combo. So they can be out on Kiowa, which is very much an island, and it is sort of out, it's by Seabrook. It's gorgeous, but it's radically different from staying downtown. So if you want someplace that's a little more remote and you want to be on the beach and directly on a golf course, then you could piggyback, like 2 nights downtown with 2 nights out on Kiowa. And that's attractive to a lot of people out there. You've got some luxury options out there too. And we love our partners out there.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Do you think most of if people are flying into Charleston, would you say most guests at Hotel Bennett get a rental car, or are people just Ubering?
I recommend Ubering, unless you know that you want to be going to the beach every day, or if you want to leave the downtown peninsula and go to some of the plantations and gardens that are offsite. So like Boone Hall Plantation, Magnolia, and Middleton, that's definitely a driving, that's more like 30 minutes realistically. So yeah, you can Uber to those places. We have tons of Uber here, but if you know you're going to be like exploring off the downtown peninsula, maybe rent a car. If you're going to be downtown, there's no need for that. It really, like, you can do everything on foot. And if you do have, if you don't feel like walking the mile down, to Leon's, and you're like, I just don't have it in me, get an Uber, and it takes 2 minutes and it's really quick. So I say don't rent a car and stay downtown, but that's just me. It's personal preference.
Okay. So no rental car unless you want to go to the beach every single day or do some things that are more outside of the downtown area.
Right. And it's a $20 Uber from the airport downtown. It's 15 minutes away.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking it up on maps today. I was like, man, do we need to get a rental car, or should we just Uber? And it didn't look like it was like 17 to 20 minutes from the airport to Hotel Bennett. So
yeah. And if you decide you want to take a car out one day and like go explore Johns Island, see the Angel Oak, there's a rental car place about 4 blocks from the hotel. We have a enterprise there. So just pick up a car downtown if you decide you want to do that.
Perfect. Okay, let's talk about Hotel Bennett. Tell me everything. Where do you even want to start?
Oh gosh, it's got such a great story. I love sharing the family story, and that's really, I think it's important to focus on like what sets us apart from the rest, because there is more luxury in Charleston than ever, and everybody's different. Everyone has a different aesthetic and a story. I love the Bennett family story. And it really resonated with me as someone, as you know, like grew up in the South that, you know, deals in luxury, but didn't necessarily come from that kind of background. That's Michael Bennett's story. He was born and raised here, and his father, Redmond Bennett, love that name, by the way, shined shoes on King Street during the Great Depression on the very corner where our hotel sits now.
Wow.
So this family, you know, had really humble beginnings, and it's not a case of, you know, Charleston old money and coming into wealth, far from it. So he's a self-made man. And he opened up several other businesses in town. He found his success in, you know, mainly development and commercial real estate. So he opened restaurants on Upper King Street. I think we owe him a lot for developing Upper King Street into what it is today. 10 years ago, it was not the dining mecca. It wasn't really a place that you'd even go. Now it's where everyone wants to eat and drink. And he owns 5 restaurants within a 1-block radius of the hotel. He owns 2 other smaller hotels that are powered by Hilton. But he had this vision to build a grand Southern hotel. And he said, this is the crown jewel of my life's work. This is what I want my family name on. This is the only one that has the Bennett family name on it. His parents' name, as he says. And, you know, it took him upwards of, 2 decades almost to make this a reality. He put all of his life's work into this. What used to sit on the land where the hotel is built, because we are a new build from the ground up. It's not a refurbished or restored. It's a new build.
Okay.
The county library used to stand there. And this was built in the 50s, and Charleston was pouring into modernism a bit. And it was kind of this boxy looking build, almost like a federal style building. Didn't really meld with the downtown architecture and the historic district. So I think if you talk to any like true locals, they were not too sad when the library was torn down and then rebuilt further downtown here. So we still have a library. We don't like bulldoze a library for this hotel. Library is still around, just a little bit further away. So when he went to build this from the ground up, it took a long time to get the permitting approved. The Preservation Society, who we love, they wanted to make sure anything that was built on Marion Square on this historic site was complementary to the historic downtown. We love them for that. So by the time the permitting was approved, you know, that was many years had passed. He broke ground in 2015. We opened in January 2019. And I love giving site tours in person. I can't wait to do this with you, because you're going to see a lot of things in the hotel, architecture, design, materials, that pay homage to the library where we stand. And there's also a lot of really neat touches about the history of the city and you know, Charleston as a whole and that stretch of King Street. So we're doing broad strokes right now, but when you get here, we'll do like a deeper dive into some of the fun little nuggets about the hotel, because it really goes, so everything was done with an intention and a purpose. It's not cookie cutter.
That's like my favorite story. Like somebody just like from the ground up, a self-made man or woman, and like, that is just so cool. I'm so excited to, does he like ever come around to the hotel or?
I just talked to him for like 30 minutes last week with a travel advisor. He moseyed through when I was giving a site tour, and he chimed in on something I was talking about. We have these beautiful hand-painted murals. One of them is, a mural of a country home that he has. And he came up to us and said, yeah, that's our house. And those are my 2 dogs in the painting. He is super hands-on. He's there. He really, really wants to know how people are feeling. It's so important to him and the whole family. His son Jack was there with him. We see them. They're great salt of the earth people. And yes, they're present. They're Charlestonians. And I think he sees this as much of a civic monument to Charleston as he does a hotel that's positioned to be 5-star.
I think that says the most about a hotel or any place really in travel when the owner is still there regularly. Like when they're still in the works, you know that like that just, it says so much to me.
Yes. And you might see him when you're here. So we'll see. Maybe he'll make a little guest appearance during a site tour. I love when that happens.
I'm excited. Okay, so tell me more. Tell me about you guys have a rooftop bar, correct? Right?
Yes.
And you said that's where like, do locals hang out there or what's the deal?
Absolutely, yes. So we have 179 rooms and suites. We have 4 restaurants and lounges. We have a rooftop pool with cabanas. We have a world-class spa. on site. And the restaurants and lounges, I hope you have a drink in at least one of them, with me preferably.
Okay,
I know
cool.
where I want to take you.
We'll
But
do
yeah,
it.
the rooftop bar is spectacular. It's called Fiat Lux, which means let there be light. And our restaurants are open to the public, and that's really important to us. I think to Mr. Bennett and all of us, we want the local community to feel welcome at Hotel Bennett. We want them to enjoy the restaurants, and for our visitors too, I think that's important. I really want you to interact with a local. Be charmed by a local Charlestonian. Have sweet tea with a local. Listen to that accent. Like, everyone's going to tell you where to eat and drink. I'm not the only one that's going to be bossing you around telling you where to eat. Like, any local that you interact with, I feel like is so curious about what you're doing. Like, well, where are you eating when you're here? Where are you going? Why are you here? Where are you here from? So I want my local friends in our restaurants and lounges. So yes, they're very, very welcome.
I love it. I love it. I'm so excited. You know that I am a reality TV junkie. So there is some people that I want to run into while I'm there.
Lord, Southern charm. You'll see. You might see some. You definitely might.
Oh my God, we won't get into those details though. Okay, tell me about the pool, because I actually had somebody asking me about this the other day. The pool, now are there cabanas up there, and do you have to pay to rent those?
Yes. And the pool is an area that is exclusive just to the guests of the hotel. As I said, restaurants and lounges, yes, public can come in, but there are some areas that are just for the guests. The pool is one of those, and the cabana rentals are just for the guests. Now, we are lucky to have a rooftop pool. Do we want it to be bigger? Yep. We don't have 179 seats up there, but if you are someone that you want to park it at the pool and sip mimosas, then I do recommend renting one of those cabanas. The cabanas are built into the structure of the hotel. They are furnished with flat screens, couches, fans, curtains, stocked refrigerator, snacks all day. We have two different sizes, a standard and a grand. Grand fits 6 people, standard is 4, and you have 2 chaise lounges on the pool deck that are guaranteed to be yours. So we do it in half-day increments, 10:30 to 2:30 or 3 to 7, or you can just book them back to back if you want the whole day there. So that's how the cabana program works.
Okay, and are the only lounging areas up there cabanas, or are there just like, can I just go up and grab a chair, or do you have to rent those too?
You can go grab a chair. There's seating up there. It's just first come, first serve.
Right.
So, there's no guarantees there.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. That would be really fun for like a bachelorette trip or bachelor party, or even just like a group of friends going and getting a cabana for a full day up there would be so cool.
And for kids too. That's one thing. My sister brought my niece along, and she needed a break from the shade. She's a ginger. And so I was so all right, sweet little, my little pale honey. We put her in the cabana, and she got a break from the sun, and we put the TV on for her, and they brought her out a little snowball, like a flavored slushy ice. It was precious. So yeah, it's good for kids too.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I love that we've talked about, we've made a ginger joke, and we've talked about Southern charm.
Whoops. It's hard not to.
It's awesome. No, it's okay. I actually get pretty tan for a redhead, so I'm here for it.
Are you a ginger? I forgot that you were a ginger.
I know that's why you said that.
You look like a chestnut brunette from this light. It's lovely. And my sister is a ginger. She is a fiery, spicy redhead. So I have a
They're the most fun people.
They are. You're sassy bunch. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so tell me about the different room categories. I know you and I have recently discussed these, but from the entry level to the highest suite, tell me a little bit about those and what kind of, different client profiles they might appeal to.
Sure. Well, we have 14 different room categories, and 8 of those are suites. So we do have a really versatile portfolio of accommodations for you to choose from. Now, for the people that want to start with the lead-in and just say, okay, we want to save as much money and just book into the first category, and we're going to be out of the room most of the time, our lead-in rooms are still incredibly spacious for a city center hotel. Lead-in starts at 355 square feet for a deluxe king room. our double queens are huge. So they range in size from 395 to 495 square feet. So averaging out at 445 square feet for a double queen room in a city, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot of different suite configurations. 2 bedrooms are really popular. That's kind of my bread and butter, but that's an area where I really love for my travel advisors and I just to jump on a quick call so you can tell me about your clients and we can find the right configuration for them, because they are all really different views, different beddings. Like, let's tell me about your people and then let's find the right suite or just standard accommodation for them. That's why I really like, I'm a talker, obviously, out of the South. So I like jumping on the phone, and also being like on the pre-opening team, I got to know those floor plans inside and out. So let me help you.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah. But there's an owner suite too. I'm sorry to go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear about the owner suite.
So the owner suite is really exciting. And I actually just did a fun interview in there with another virtuoso advisor who came to visit. We were able to do this interview in person in the owner suite.
Oh,
so as Bloomberg called it, they did an article about it before we opened. It was called The Secret Rooms Hotels Don't Tell You About. So owner suite is a hand sell only. So not everybody knows about it. You'll never be able to book it online. I recommend booking it through a travel advisor for sure. But this is a 2-story, 2,380 square foot suite. And it really reflects the taste and palate of the owners.
Wow.
It is as ultra chic and fabulous and luxurious as you can imagine. It also has a wraparound terrace, 830 square feet of outdoor terrace looking at Marion Square and the harbor and the Ravenel Bridge. I mean, it's amazing, and it's in demand. So that's a little secret and a little nugget for you to share with your clients that not everybody knows about. So technically we have 180 rooms if you include the owner's suite, but if you ask anybody, they'll say we have 179.
I love that. I actually think I saw that article. I don't know if I read it in its entirety, but I think that I saw that article about like all the hidden rooms and all the different hotels. That's so cool.
We were thrilled, and we just got another outstanding mention. Condé Nast just named us on their 2020 hot list of best new hotels in the world.
Wow, that's impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, had to brag just a little bit there because it came out right around the time we reopened. We reopened on May 21st, and that was the week that it was announced. So it coincided really beautifully, and we were excited to be named on that list.
I love that. I love it. Okay, well, what else? Have we touched on everything about the hotel?
Well, as far as the cleaning and protocols, like the COVID,
Yes.
I know that a lot of people are concerned about staying in hotels, about the cleanliness. And I think the information that I have to share today is going to set a lot of people's minds at ease. Yours too, because you're coming. But truly, so we did a number of things. We have an extensive list of COVID safety protocols and guidelines. First of all, every employee has their temperature taken before entering the building. We created a COVID-19 position. We actually have someone at the hotel that their whole job is conducting COVID-19 training and safety measures. I mean, without a doubt,
full-time job.
It's a full-time job. She's so busy. The safety of our guests, our staff, and our community is our number one priority. And we have followed the guidelines of the state of South Carolina, the World Health Organization, the Department of Health, during every phase of reopening. And one fun little fact is the Medical University of South Carolina is here in Charleston. This is an outstanding, nationally renowned facility. They came and gave us a certification that we basically hit every health, hygiene, cleanliness standard. And we passed with flying colors. We sort of sent the benchmark, if you will. They're certifying hotels to make sure that everyone's following these safety measures. And they came through and did a certification of Hotel Bennett. So it was nice to have their endorsement. But as far as what you'll see and feel when you're there, so there's no denying that this is going on. So there is signage all over the property, encouraging you to social distance in a responsible way, in a nice way. And then we have at check-in, we have masks, gloves, and little hand sanitizers, little logoed hand sanitizers to give to our guests. And we do recommend that the guests wear them. We encourage them to wear them. It's not a requirement, but every single employee will be wearing a mask. As far as the restaurants and spaces, in Charleston, restaurants can go up to 50% occupancy. So that goes with ours too. So you'll see the furniture has been rearranged. The bar stools have been removed with most places. You can still get the service. We're anticipating our outdoor spaces to continue to be really popular. That's another thing that really sets us apart is being on the square. We have this amazing outdoor plaza. We're on Marion Square. We do live music out there, and it's a great place to social distance. So we like those outdoor spaces as well. The experience in the rooms is going to be a little bit different. You can still get housekeeping service. You just have to request it. So you get a little check-in booklet when you arrive. It'll outline all the amenities that we have. The spa has reopened. The gym has reopened. Like I said, you can do almost everything. It's just going to feel and look a little bit different. So some things, turn down service had to change. We're just, safety's the number one priority. So I think everyone's still happy with what they're getting because we're able to deliver everything still in a really elevated way and give you a luxury experience, but we're also going to follow the rules and do it responsibly.
Right. That makes sense. I think that there's, going forward with hotels, there's going to be this fine line. And I think someone was discussing this whole idea in one of the travel advisor groups on Facebook, but just this whole idea of we need to know it's safe. We need to know what you're doing as far as like safety protocols and how are you maintaining a certain standard with, and concerns of COVID, but also not scaring guests. And, you want people to still feel like they are on vacation and they're escaping, what's going on in the world at the very same time. So I think that and it sounds like you've done a fantastic job is what I'm saying. And really finding that balance. We don't have to wear a mask. It's here for you if you'd like it. We're all wearing one. All the have room service because some people are thinking, well, there's not room service and I can't go to a spa and well, I might as well just stay home. And so it's nice to know that all of these things are available if you're comfortable with it.
Yes. And we have to really be careful with our tone right now because we don't want anyone to think we're pushing them to do anything unsafe. And we really, it's up to everyone. And that's where using a travel specialist is so important. I'm just such a huge advocate for people working with travel advisors like you, Bailey, because really speaking to consumer confidence, you don't want to go out there blind. Now more than ever. I mean, pre-pandemic, I still used a travel advisor. Right. Because you speak with such authority. You make it your business to know which cities are safe right now, to know which hotels are welcoming, what they're doing. Like that's your whole job. So I think it's obvious the benefits you get with booking through a travel advisor. But if you add now, people are really shifting their focus back to domestic travel. I know a lot of people use advisors for international primarily, but now I think U.S. itineraries are so popular, and I hope people are going to keep their travel advisor around to help them book road trips. And I hope Charleston's on the short list when they do that. But
Me too.
Yeah, I really I'm encouraged with the uptick in inquiries and visits we've had, both from your clients and also my travel partners. Like you, I mean, I get so excited when my travel advisors come to stay and experience it. I almost get more excited than when your clients are coming because I know you're going to love it and I want to spoil you and thank you. And I want you to, confidently recommend this hotel.
Yeah, I think that of course, like, traveling as a travel advisor has always been important to go and experience things for ourselves so that we can better serve our clients. But now there's this whole new element of, okay, I've been to Hotel Bennett. Here's what they're doing given the circumstances. Yes. And I think that when we can go and get our hands on the ground, or our feet on the ground, and our hands on the products, given this whole new this entire new circumstance that we're dealing with, it's a whole new job. And which is why I laughed when you said we have a full-time COVID person whose job, I mean, it is a full-time job, and that's just for one destination, and we're trying to keep up with the whole world. So it's been quite the task, I will tell you.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, it's a lot.
I think a spa treatment at Hotel Bennett might be in my future.
Oh, I think we could do that.
Okay, so I know we talked about the benefits of working with a travel advisor in regards to everything that's going on, but when it comes to Hotel Bennett, you guys are Virtuoso Property, so walk me through the different amenities that clients will get when they book their stay at Hotel Bennett with Be the Travel.
Yes, so you will have a $100 hotel credit to use wherever you wish, and the spa, for example, maybe.
Yes.
You can use that wherever. You will receive breakfast for two every day. That's a $30 per person credit, max of $60 a day. FYI, right now, you can redeem that in La Patisserie, which is our French bakery, or through in-room dining. Gabrielle, our main restaurant, is open for lunch and dinner right now. In pre-pandemic times, that's where you would redeem the credit. Just information. Everyone wants to know how it works right now.
Right.
So breakfast for two, upgrade based on availability at time of arrival, and then early check-in, late checkout subject to availability. And obviously your reservation is notated as a VIP.
Of course. Oh, I'm so happy and I'm so excited to go experience it for myself. And I have a few people scheduled to come see you guys too in the few coming months. So I'm so excited about Hotel Bennett and Charleston and everything that's happening. And I feel like we're heading towards the light at the end of the tunnel and all of this crazy 2020 that we've been living in.
I know. And there is a ton of pent up demand that we're seeing. People are ready. They're ready to like get out and get some distance even from their families. I always say like, who comes to Charleston? Who comes to Hotel Bennett? And I just say anybody that wants to celebrate anything. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a milestone. I feel like everyone in this city is in celebration mode. Obviously tons of honeymoons, baby moons, anniversaries, birthdays, ladies' getaways. It's just, people are happy. You're happy here.
Hey y'all, thanks so much for tuning in. I really hope that you loved what you heard today. And if you did, share it with a friend. Take a screenshot of this episode and send it to them so that they can listen in too. Or post it to your Instagram story and tag us at BeTheTravelgram. Or write a comment below and let us know what you think. Your support means the whole big, beautiful world to Be the Travel. And until next time, happy travels.